Hello, trading is closed on November 16th, 2022. This is my disclaimer. Please read it. Please remember you're trading at your own risk because I can be wrong. Look for the pattern today with the early high, which is this. Tomorrow should have the early low. We had signals that were mixed. Commonest thing would be a gap and prompt move outside the day's range. That didn't happen. Next most common is close, little change, big move the next day. That didn't happen. So neither one of those things happened. Now, there is a second chance for closing little change. We closed yesterday at 39.9173. If we gap up within 1/4% or 10 handles or so of that number tomorrow, that open could substitute for today's close and be a surrogate for that panning out. But it certainly doesn't have to happen. We did have resistance at this green line, which is a prior FOMC announcement price. During the day, MEJT said this drop isn't the real thing. Gives us a target 39.7479. If we don't gap down smartly, that's my call for tomorrow. Well, that's the target. Yesterday's pattern had the early high and the late low. The late low usually undercuts the midday low. If it doesn't, it's positive and leads to higher prices. Now, this could have been it, but I would expect more than that. And we've had all day and we still couldn't undercut that low. So because this couldn't undercut that low and because we have this higher target, I'm looking for higher prices tomorrow. How much higher? Well, we have an A and we have a B. C could have topped out here because there is a Fib ratio, 78.6% to A. But the commonest ratio is C being equal to A. What if that happens here? Well, if C is equal to A, then we stopped right at the 61.8% retrace of this last move, and we hit a high of just over 4109. That's just under 200 handles, and certainly I wouldn't expect that in a day. But if we do get a rally, at least we could pencil that in. Not by tomorrow necessarily, obviously. Well, tomorrow's pattern has the early low. We could still gap up. There's a higher MEJT target. Unless we gap down smartly, the rules call for it to print. Yesterday's negative pattern couldn't manage to undercut its midday low yet. It's a positive pattern. It should lead to higher price regardless of where we close. One possible, is we gap up to within 10 handles or so of yesterday's 39.9173 close and hit a high around 4109. I don't mean tomorrow, but I mean at some point. Would make a pretty picture, but I must admit other numbers may work as well. As always, gapping down smartly kills the call before the open. So tomorrow has the early low, but there are higher targets. I look for a rally in this holding, and if I'm wrong, it'll probably be obvious before the open by gapping down smartly. And that's today's call.